like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
It seems most of us do. Horror movies have been around as long as cinema. Some classics, and some, well, not so much.
Monsters, what do you want from me?
Having starred in many different types of films, the new horror flick Deliver Us From Evil sees Eric Bana play a police officer and family man.
Hi, Daddy. I'm going to sleep now. First, I want to tell you that I love you.
Oh, don't say, Daddy, I love you. Things always go pear-shaped when they say, Daddy, I love you. Anyway, Eric's character joins with a priest to fight against a wave of demonic possessions.
Ma'am, what's wrong with you?
It's not his usual type of film, but Eric's definitely done scary before.
Please welcome Eric Bana. When we say this movie is terrifying. Like, I had to sneak out before the end because I couldn't cope anymore. I spent the whole movie pretty much like this, going, I have to keep watching this, but I can't. I knew I was going home to an empty house that night and I was freaked out.
Sorry.
It is so... Well, you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve.
I feel really guilty now, but that's exactly what we set out to do. Scott Derrickson, our...
Mission accomplished.
Exactly. He's a sick, twisted man. His previous work I love, The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister, if you've seen those films, and he has this ability to just, you know, ground his films in reality, which always, I think, makes it a little bit harder and scarier.
Why horror film? Like, you've done lots of really cool films. Why horror?
I never saw it as a horror film. I read the script, and it's funny, when you read a horror film script, they don't read like a horror film. Obviously, I had the context of Scott's previous work, so I had an idea it would be scary, but it was the character. Ralph Saatchi was just a one in a million. It's a real person who was a detective in the Bronx who came across some amazing crimes, wrote a book based on a series of cases and turned into a screenplay. And obviously, we've exaggerated a little bit to make it scarier, but I just loved him. I would have played him in any film. He just happened to be in a horror movie.
You've only exaggerated a little bit, though, really, Eric. If you look at all of this, your research here was above and beyond. You had to actually watch some material that involved the occult and some exorcisms, and I read somewhere that it actually left you, you know, one of the items you saw actually left you quite scared.
It did. I wish I had a gag, but...
I just wanted to establish that the man who played Chopper was actually...
I was. Ralph has access to, real Ralph Saatchi, who I portray, has access to videotapes which will never surface, and myself and a couple of cast members saw those, and they are footage of actual exorcisms being performed.
Wow.
And they're not anything like you would imagine them to be. And yeah, I mean, one of them was just horrific and terrible to watch, and there's a lot of suffering that's occurring there. So, like I say, I wish I had a gag for it, but kept me up for quite a few
So you
months.
weren't sharing those around, were you?
No, I try to actually discourage my co-star Olivia Munn from seeing it, and she saw it, ended up in tears, and wouldn't take the hint. But
Now
that real cop is clearly a pretty intense dude. Was he a frightening, unnerving guy to meet?
He really was. He's the most intense guy I've ever met, like, full stop.
Yeah.
Former Bronx cop who then retired from the police force and became an assistant in exorcisms, served in Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, he's an incredible guy, but to meet him and have him working on the set every day was a little intimidating.
And, you nail it. You do a brilliant job of portraying him, and your Bronx accent is very, very good, can I say. Do you still? And you've done a lot over the years. You've covered pretty much every genre. I think,
except Australian.
Except musical. But you do. We remember we love you doing a great Ray Martin from back in the day. Do you still do a Ray? Do you ever dive into the old?
Give us a Ray. Give us a Ray.
Believe it or not, I still see the world in 10 sketch comedy segments. It's just that I can't do anything with it. It's the family who
There it is.
That is amazing. Those full frontal days, they're just incredible. We're like, you're still tempted to do it? You do it for us tonight?
It's
Give us a recognition.
Come on, give us a round.
Yes.
What's after the project? What's after the project?
MasterChef?
MasterChef. After the project tonight, we'll be back with MasterChef.
What, you look deep inside those smouldering eyes, and what do you see there? You see a man who could sell anything. Look at this. This is behind the scenes footage of an ad for. Look at those smouldering eyes. Look at those. You turned it up to 11, right?
He's good.
That is hot. Did you know we had our mitts on those smouldering?
No, I love it. I
eye
love
shots?
it. Yeah.
What
Bring
was
it
it
on.
an ad for you were filming?
For Bulgari, which is an Italian company. So, yeah, been involved with them for the last couple of years. Been a lot of fun, actually.
Well, Deliver Us from Evil is in cinemas on July 24. It is terrifying but awesome. Would you please thank Eric Bana?
Thanks, guys.